Hey, what's going on, Krazy Crew? Craziness Gaming here, and today we are going to go over again another one of my runs here where I use the skip to utilize saving time. And I don't know, I wouldn't call it the most optimal run again like last time. But this is just kind of what I was doing to try and grab as much good loot as I could, you know, between ammunition and health and gear and weapons, while not using any of the infinite items and doing this in hardcore mode to save as much time as possible. As you can see, this is my playthrough 2 now, because we did it with Leon in the first one on my last video, so we're doing the second run for Claire. And in hardcore, they only give you the 2 hours to finish the game. It's not a lot of time, so right now I'm trying to save as much as I can, so I'm trying to not shoot as much as possible. We're gonna do lots of juking here, psyching out these zombies or baiting them out, so that way we can preserve as much of everything as we possibly can. Because I want to bring as much to the end of the game as possible, because we're going to skip a lot. We're going to skip a bunch. I'm going to grab as much as I can in the police station without spawning Mr. X, without having to deal with any lickers, without having to ever see a dog in my entire playthrough, and probably skipping a boss fight or two. I know at least one. Because we're going to skip right out of the police station and go straight to the orphanage. So we're going to juke some of these guys to save some ammo. And we want to make sure, because we're going to be skipping so much stuff, that we want to bring the proper amount of gear to the end of the game. So like last time, this has been previously recorded, and I'm just laying my audio voice over my gameplay here. I can definitely verify for you guys for sure that this was actually just my first test run. This wasn't going to be my complete run. I was going to just practice and figure out, alright, let's grab these things, and I was going to like make a route so that way when I officially would go through this, I could maximize the amount of time that I was going to save for my run here. Like right now, I'm going to keep pausing it probably during this gameplay. I think it happens a few times where I don't have notes yet. I wasn't even writing them down. I'm kind of planning out, alright, what's my next step? Where am I going to go? Because I don't want to delay in time. Like, right there, I remember I was thinking about which zombies I want to waste and which ones I don't. You know, we can run by a lot of them, but I know there's some hallways that we're going to be visiting a few times, going back and forth, and it's just better just to smoke some of these guys. So that way I don't have to keep dealing with them continuously coming back and forth here. So that's what I was doing. I hadn't gotten notes yet, so we're planning on what stuff we're going to take out of the police station without getting Mr. X to ruin everything for us. And figure out who we're going to kill in the process and where we can save on ammo. Like I said, this wasn't going to be my actual gameplay right here. I was trying to map it out, and then I was going to figure out something later on. This actually ended up being my real game, and I failed trying to get through the skip. I used every single health item I could before the skip finally worked, and I was in the red, which really sucked. But I can also verify that even doing everything I'm doing here, and if you guys copy it, I made it to the end of the game and beat the game in hardcore with only saving 3 times, because I saved once after the skip when I made it to the orphanage. I saved again like close to the end of the lab, like getting there almost, you know, let's say halfway through it, and then I saved again like at the end of the game to guarantee that if I had to go back to find a way to conserve another few minutes, so that way we made sure we were in that S+ window. But I did, and I beat the game S+. So this did work, even though the run kind of went south toward the end of it during the skip part. So this run will work if you guys definitely want to copy it. You might even find better ways, especially for optimizing for time and skipping other kills that I killed and trying to avoid more zombies or not put rounds into the back of the wall. Might even find other items that I forgot to grab or didn't think about grabbing, but this is what I did grab, so I know which rooms have what in them, because I played the game enough. I'm just planning out which rooms we want to actually stop into. I mean, you might even be able to save time just by skipping stupid things like flicking on lights and grabbing papers and all that other stuff too. I like to be thorough. There's definitely lots of ways you can definitely speed run the game, which would avoid coming to rooms like probably the one I'm standing in now and a few other ones if you're totally just speed running your way through it. I don't really go for time. I just want to go for the time the game, you know, the game time crunches me, and I'm not trying to like beat world records here or anything like that. So I want to I'm trying to get runs out there for people so that way they can see like the best course of get everything you possibly can, still make it to the end of the game with a great amount of time. And really great amount of time is overselling it a little bit. When I ended up beating the game with this particular run, I did it in 1 hour and 56 minutes. And that's because, like I said, I was kind of taking my time through the whole thing. I made sure that I grabbed stuff here, I grabbed stuff in the lab. I think the only part I really speed ran was probably the sewer itself. When I got there, I just kind of like went back and forth, grabbed this, grabbed that, grabbed this, grabbed the chess pieces, and then we were out of there. You guys don't see any of the gameplay really pretty much beyond the skip, because that's really what the video is kind of for. I'm just showing you my run, my route, and then the skip itself. So we don't got the full thing, so this isn't going to be a long video. It still might be about a half hour, but it's not going to be the full gameplay. If you guys want to see the full gameplay, I mean, I can do that for you if you really want to see exactly how things work and what I do, and comment below, let me know, and you know, I'll make other videos. You guys got other ideas that you want to see as well, or different types of things? I mean, I'll make whatever videos that, you know, the audience wants. You guys are in control. And we say we're all in control, but in this case, you guys are in control. You decide what videos I make. Whatever content it is that you guys like is what I do. So in this case, I've been asked, when I was playing this game by a few people that I know, they were asking me how they can preserve the most time while collecting the most gear, and here we are today making these videos for the second time. This time we're doing the... So I want to do both too, actually. I'm cutting myself off here. I want to do both. Last time we did Leon A, and that was like the first playthrough, and it was Leon's gameplay. So that's how you would skip with Leon and doing it in the A gameplay. Now this one's the B gameplay, where we're doing it with Claire from a different angle, but we're also doing Claire's version of the game. So it's kind of showing you, like, if you want to do this with Claire A or Claire B, this will work, and if you want to do it with Leon A and B, you know, the other video will work for that. So I wanted to get all angles of it, so this should cover all the bases. I still want to make a video where I find a way to get Leon's key and then get back into the regular game without skipping ahead or doing anything. I want to collect all 4 keys and run around the map. It's not a big deal, it's just a goal of mine that I was thinking. But yeah, so I don't want to blow too much time here. I was trying to still preserve time because I wanted to see how long it would take me to collect everything, make it to the library, get to where I need to be. I'm pretty sure we'll pause it at some point there, and I'll be like, alright, so it took me this long to collect everything, and then to get to the library to prepare for the skip. So I keep timing myself, even though I wasn't planning on using this as my regular run. I just ended up going through it. I was like, I'll see how far I can get without dying, and then I just never ended up dying a single time on the run, so I just went with it. But I wasn't planning on it, I was waiting to die. Pretty sure I remember this part. I made a bad call here. I was like, oh, he's coming up. I'll go down this staircase. What's the odds of me getting tagged there? You know, with a zombie facing that direction, looking at the staircase. Thanks, Marvin. I know, I made a bad call. I probably could have made it behind you if I went the other way. So, there's definitely ways you guys can save on health and not do stupid things that I did. I mean, if anything, this is a great how-to video on how I did it, how you could do it, and you'll even see the things that I do that you shouldn't do. So, it covers all the bases.
What was that?
Now, there is a liquor in this room on the second playthrough. whether you're Leon or Claire. It's like the regular original Resident Evil at this point, where the things that took place in the classic game take place in this game. If you guys don't know this yet, walking at full speed, you're fine. You're completely undetectable, don't worry about it. It's the running that blows you every time, so don't do that. You'll totally blow your cover. But lickers are blind. No matter how close you get to them, if they scream and freak out and they lunge at you and kind of look at you, they're just trying to scare you into running. But if you never actually run or bump into them, they're just going to make noises, freak out, and do all sorts of things to get you to jump scare. But I guarantee you guys, you can always walk by lickers. You'll see that happen a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure we don't attack any of them throughout the game. Because they're just totally avoidable. They're very, very dangerous, but it's only when they know you're there. So if they don't know you're ever there, then they're totally, totally useless. Harmless, really. I wouldn't recommend petting them, but other than that, they are harmless. So, even though we don't need boards where we're going, I'm still picking them up here and there because I'm trying to decide, like I said, I'm planning this. You guys are actually watching my first, this is my strategy, my first one right now, where I'm like, alright, haven't had notes yet, we're taking notes now, how are we going to do this? And I'm planning out which boards we should grab, which windows should I block up, if any windows are worth blocking up. I lost a flashbang here. I don't know why. But for some reason, I thought it was a safe room, and I was like, oh, he can't walk through this door if I just keep the door propped open and shoot him on the other side. And I don't know what possessed me to think I was in a safe room. I'm clearly not. So we lost a flashbanger there, but I don't use them too much, you know, in, like, worst case scenarios, like the one you just watched right now would be, like, a time where I would use a flashbang. And then, there's a couple boss fights, like probably G2, it comes in handy for sure. But there's not a lot of places where flashbangs are vital, especially if I have like a stockpile of grenades versus flashbangs. I mean, then I'll just bring grenades all the time. Alright, so more or less what's going on here is, it's the same thing like my first playthrough in my first video, where you don't want to really screw around. I know I'm going to come through these hallways a lot, so it's just best to try and plug as many of these guys as we can now. I don't know for you guys if that ever scares you. Like both of those, if that ever scares you, but for me it's hilarious. Every time I watch them fly over that railing and flop on the ground. I don't jump, I just... If you guys could hear me laughing right now, I'm like trying to aim this thing and I'm just laughing at the same time. It's too funny. Those are my favorite zombies, the one that just throw themselves over railings. So this is where I grab my ink ribbons always. I said this in my last video and I was correct in what I was saying, but the video was an older trial run, so I had grabbed ink ribbons previously. But this is where I grab them in this room, because you only have 3 saves you're allowed to use for S+, so this is where we get them. Just pick them up here real quick. It's also in a safe room, so you don't have to waste the inventory slots picking up, you know, ink ribbons somewhere else in the police station and then running around with them for a bit. Just grab them in here and dump them right off. We only have the 3 saves. After that, if you save more, you're going to lose your S+, so right now I'm trying to plan things out. I don't have to mix all this stuff together, but I'm trying to gauge, again, you know, what kind of materials we have, where we're at. I'm trying to get a good head count of the loot, if you will. I know I can get out of here with a box and a half of handgun ammo if everything goes well, but these guys get up a lot in this hallway, so I end up losing a bit. And it was either that or risk getting bitten, trying to get around them all the time, because I got to come through this hallway multiple times, or lose more ammo in the future, or getting bit and losing health. It's probably the worst one. Or I guess really the worst one would be is not losing health and not losing ammunition, and then trying to wait for getting jukes around them all, which means I'd just be blowing time at that point, which would probably be the worst, really. Don't want to blow time either. But my main priority here, alright, so this is what I'm thinking in my head right now. I'm thinking I'm going to grab every health item I can come across at the police station that I can get access to without getting Mr. X to spawn. Which I know he's on the second floor behind the STARS office. We'll get to that. I want to get every piece of ammunition that I have access to that I can think of. Even gunpowders, really don't want to leave much behind. I'm not too worried about the black stuff for the darker gunpowder, but like the high grade gunpowder, the white bottles. I was gonna say vials, but white bottles. Those we don't want to skip because I can make acid rounds out of that, or automatic ammunition would definitely be good. So we're grabbing that, and I definitely don't want to leave until I can get access to both firearms for the police station as well. Where I might not end up getting all the modifications for it. And I actually make a little bit of a screw up. I thought I wasn't going to need one of the key items that I leave behind, and I'm going to recommend you guys to not do that, because actually I did come back around to a point where I could have used it again, and I left the modification for one of the firearms behind because I didn't think I was going to go back there. But so we're grabbing everything in all these rooms. I did leave that powder behind. I don't remember if I come back for it or not, but it's definitely there if you guys want to make extra trips. Or if you have a lighter backpack than me when you're running around. Yeah, these guys get up a lot. I mean, I could definitely juke him in the hallway. It's long enough. You don't always have to go around a zombie. You know, as long as you can get his attack animation where he sprints at you to go off. And I believe probably standard and definitely in hardcore, they do a second follow-up sprint. So if they don't grab you the first time, they'll sprint a second time. Usually, as far as I've seen, they've only ever done it twice in a row. So if they go after you, they go after you. They lunge twice, and then after the second lunge, you can just run around them. I think that's what we did to the first guy, the big cop zombie, when we were outside getting the key to get into the police station. He was the first one we juked, and you'll see that he double lunges. That's what I'm talking about. If you guys need a reference, to go back in the video and check what I'm talking about. They all do that. It's actually really, really easy to fake out a attack out of them, and then just use that to your advantage and let them do their double take, and then you just go around them. But right now I'm thinking that the ammo's worth it. If I just kill them enough times, eventually they'll stay like dead, and then I won't have to worry about burning any more time waiting for them or trying to run around them and all that. You know, like some of these guys I'm not going to waste my time on anymore. They keep getting up, and I'm like, I can just get around some of them at this point. I don't have to wait for them, I don't have to juke them, and I don't have to waste the ammunition, so... So in the second run, all the combinations, as you've seen on the lockers, and the same things with the dial safes are all the same. So you can use the same ones you used in the first one if you had written them down or remembered them. We're definitely going to make sure to grab as much of these things as we definitely can. Now going out into this hallway always bugged me, because every time I come out here, these guys like to move their positions. I keep waiting for one to be on the back side of that door. I think for the rest of the time that I come out into the main lobby over and over again, I get lucky most of the times, but definitely be careful running out here every time you do that, because these guys like to just move around. Same thing with the people in here, they like to be in weird positions sometimes. I'm used to the first playthrough where she's always behind the door the first time you unlock it, so she wasn't here this time, so I was like, I'll snag the book and we're out of here. That's the exact move I would have loved to pull in my other video when I was Leon. I always want to try and get in that room, snag the book, because the next place we're going is on the other side, so it would just be convenient to have the book. all in the same run. Nothing like a good old dome split to guarantee the zombie won't be walking around for the rest of the game. That one's not coming back. Alright, so in that safe, I did skip this one. At no point ever do I ever find myself in the parking lot, because we skipped that area completely, and the boss fight before the first Birkin fight. So I was hoping that guy wouldn't be there. They're in different positions in this hallway sometimes, but I'm still walking because I have a feeling there's one around the corner, and I don't want to run around in this hallway and attract more attention. So we're taking it a little bit slow right here. This is actually the first place where I thought the run was going to be blown. There's a reason why I'm standing at an angle like that. I also think I was checking where the zombie's position was if he walked down the hallway or came by the door. I wanted him to get behind it so that way he could just run out and leave when he's... I think he is behind me right now, which is where I want him to be. He walked past the doorway. So I like to angle myself here on this statue when I put the piece in, because as you guys might know in the second playthrough, same thing like original game, the classic, it's going to fall through the ceiling, and you can just kind of bolt out the door while it's going into attack animation. I seriously lost my bearings and screwed this part up, and I was like, well, this run's over. So I got stuck on the statue when I first started running. Otherwise, I could have avoided that. Yeah, see, he was behind the door. So that kind of was a bummer. You guys can probably do that one better. I've done it plenty of times, and I don't know why after the statue animation was over, I just started running into the statue, and it delayed me long enough where I didn't get past the hit. So that sucked. But I mean, that's how you want to do that one. Just take a wide turn out of the room without running into things, and he'll swing against the wall, and by the time he recovers, you'll be out the door. Don't waste ammunition on that liquor. Because he pops through the room to come after you, I want to say that even if you're standing still and walking in that room, because it's initially supposed to be an ambush, I think he will see you, even if you're not moving or walking in there, so... I can't quite remember, but it wasn't worth risking in hardcore when I knew even running I wouldn't get hurt if I had done it right. This part I kind of screwed up a little bit. I baited him over to this side, and then I realized, damn it, when I run around the other side I'm going to wake this other zombie up, so I didn't really just spare myself of having to deal with zombies later on in that room again, but it's not a big deal. We find a way around it later. It's just more crap I didn't have to deal with if I had approached it in a different way. Same thing with you guys, you know, if you approach that differently so you don't wake the guy sleeping. It's less stuff you have to deal with in that room. But it wasn't a big deal, because, again, my mindset was I wasn't planning on keeping this run, it just ended up going that way. Now, if there had been multiple zombies out there, I probably would have launched him in this as soon as he opened that door and just blew him to pieces, but I wanted to see how many were behind that door. I was like, if he's just the only one out there and he's coming in, then I'm not going to worry about it. We can get around him easily, we'll just loop him. So we got the key card, a weapons locker, and then we got the badge now for the secondary gun. So this was my goal, to definitely prioritize getting both of those. Good thing is he lost track of me in that weapons locker room, so we don't even see him ever again for the rest of the run. He stays in there and we never go back to that room, so... Still taking an inventory right now, seeing where we're at and what I got for supplies to work with. I really do have like a decent amount. I probably shouldn't have kept this run if I was really trying to be like thorough with it. I was thinking about taking an aid spray with me just in case, because I've been failing so hard in this run. But I was like, well, we're going to Star's room next, and I know there's an aid spray upstairs, so I don't have to worry about it. But I did do a good job of getting a pretty decent amount of aids. And if I hadn't blown it all trying to get into the skip, we would have got out of here, and I would have felt pretty confident with a healthy stash of supplies. I wouldn't recommend saving or doing the run even I did. It does work. Like I said, I did end up beating S+ on this run, but I wouldn't recommend doing what I did. I mean, you could definitely get out of here with all your aids and not blow them like I did. Alright, so key thing in this room, I'm walking very, very slow. I hugged that wall and got into this room as quick as possible without going any further down that hallway. Because this is where the hallway where Mr. X will spawn. I don't know if walking pulls him. I know that if you go too far down there, it will pull him. I don't know if noise pulls him, but he's definitely around the corner. And we don't need him roaming around to screw shit up for us. So I walked throughout that entire hallway. I don't know if it mattered or not, but it was worth wasting the time just to make sure he didn't spawn or come after us. So I walk in that hallway, we hug the left wall, and we get into that room immediately without walking any further forward. Like, I don't even want to walk centered into that door. Like, I want to hit this corner of the wall when we're walking through the door. Same thing, hit the corner of the wall. Don't even look down the hallway. Don't even pretend that part of the hallway exists. Don't look down there. Don't run down there. Don't go anywhere near it. Just avoid it. I have no idea how many of these steps are actually relevant to working, but everything I did here guaranteed that he did not spawn. Because I just want to get in the Star's office and I just want to get the hell out of here. I don't need him running around. I don't know if there's more multiple locations, like if you skip that hallway for a certain period of time or come at it from a different angle, he might spawn there or somewhere else or somewhere close to it, or just other hallways in general he might spawn in if you avoid that one for too long, or I don't know how the game works in that sense. But I can tell you for sure, in my run I never seen him, and don't go down that one hallway, because that's a surefire way of getting his attention. Alright, so we're just about finishing up here. I'm figuring out the rest of them, like, alright, we got some more submachine gun ammunition, that's good. I think we just about scrambled up all the health that we can get. There might be a few other rooms where I could go back, get some more powders, and do some stuff, but I wasn't really too worried about. You know, the dark powders, it's the light ones that do all the special ammunition, so those are definitely critical to not leave behind, but we got so many extras, and I don't really use the 9mm, so the regular gunpowder wasn't priority to me. It might be for you guys. Right now I'm trying to figure out what to bring with me, how I want to do this run. I'm pretty sure I blew all the aid that's on me, and I even go back to the box to grab more aid, and I end up blowing all that as well, trying to get into the goddamn skip. It really got screwed up bad here. It's still possible to make it with red health to the end of the game with no aids after leaving through the skip, because I have no aids and I was in the red when I left. You guys will see that toward the end of the video, and there was nothing I could do about it because I didn't have aid in the box left over. It went really, really bad trying to get into here. I thought this whole run was going to be blown and I was be doing it again anyway. It actually takes me so long, I blew 10 minutes here as well trying to get it to work. It was just a very unsuccessful run. I believe I even cut it out just to spare the time of the video. But same old routine as my last video. We'll take the leg out. I found a new way to do this now. You can still use the Leon method that I have in my other video. Or, we'll skip ahead now and you'll see the new method, where you kind of line her up on the staircase and you still walk over that right shoulder. But what we do here is that we get her up to the top of the staircase, and I don't know if you guys know this from the classic game, it even existed. I used to chase zombies around in the classic game as opposed to them chasing me, because if you blew them in half or took their legs off, you can actually stand behind a zombie and you can follow them around. Like, you can stand on their butt and just follow the zombie around, and it just runs everywhere, and you're completely immune if you're directly behind it. Even if you're a little bit to the side of it, you're not too bad, but you don't want to be anywhere toward the front of the zombie where it can reach out. So you'll see that here. We skip ahead. Standing on the... well, I guess I skipped all the way ahead. But yeah, so what we did is we lined him up at the top of the staircase. We had him circle around until the zombie was at the spot of the staircase where we need it to be for me to stand on the shoulder. And then I went from behind the zombie and walked into the front of the zombie to initiate the grapple as well. So instead of just standing there and wait for the first one to whiff and then try to get tagged by the second one, it seemed more consistent and even a little bit easier just to be behind the zombie, get her into the position you need the zombie in for the bite, and then after that, just walk into it, really. Just walk forward. Don't want to walk onto the staircase, but you want to walk to the edge of the staircase and get grabbed when you're still on that top platform. And it will work all the same, and it seemed even a little bit more, like I said, more consistent and easier. So as opposed to Leon's run, we're taking a different run here. Take notes, guys. So we used that staircase to drop our level, and then we went down and kind of clipped down a little bit just to get into that second stairwell so we can drop down even lower. You've seen the shaft that was right next to me that was loading in. That was the elevator shaft. Don't fall into that. I have. You get soft locked, it sucks. But we use that as a reference point, and where we stand kind of like next to it. As you saw, I was standing there for a little bit, and I just kind of waited because I was waiting for that stuff to like unload out of the game so that the parking lot would load into the game. Now once it got into the game, just follow my route here. By going on top of that car, we elevated ourselves a little bit. We want to get as high as possible. I think I'm in the wrong spot here. But we got as high as possible that we could on that side of the car, because if you walk off any other way, you're going to walk off the car. So just walk the same way that I did on that car. We got up to that back corner and then walked off it so we were high enough so we clipped back through the wall. Using that clip through the wall, we can walk over the top of the garage and around to this direction. Now just stay between the trees and the walls here. Pretty standard. It's not too hard. There's no graphics that are going to invisible wall you and get stuck on. Right now we're running toward the street lamp, and now we're going to use this billboard as a waypoint, because this is where Leon's path is going to come up, and we're going to use that for our player. You kind of want to be a little bit behind the billboard like we are here. You're going to eventually hit a wall, and you aren't going to be able to walk forward anymore, so you're going to know you're too far. Just looking around, looking down, you know, just kind of like moving around. There you go. You get it to spawn like that. Now you want to pretend that there's railings here. Either side of this will work. And pretend there's railings here and walk up the railing, because that will elevate you high enough. You don't want to step on that path because you don't want to be in Leon's scenario when you're Claire. I don't know what that's going to do for you. Probably nothing good. Follow these paths through the buildings. I use the windows and the vents kind of like as my waypoints. You'll see that if you look back at the video and see exactly where I was kind of like walking between stuff. Right now we're against the fence. We're trying to get this to spawn in. We need this next area to pop up. Looking down, looking around, nudging yourself against it, whatever you got to do to get it to pop. There it is. Now we're going to walk around through the buildings and not into Claire's area. Nothing spawned out there. That includes enemies. And if this place isn't technically active, you won't have enemies out here, but you also won't really have access to, like, going through doors and opening things. And some things might be locked, like you need a zombie to smack down the cage door before you can walk through the cage door. That's why we're not going, like, directly to the parking lot. We don't want to activate it because some things won't even be out there to open doorways for us and stuff. So finally, we get to this last area that we're clipping through. Walk out here. And you want to find this cream-colored car. It's the one you can stand on, walk off the edge of it, and here you are. You skipped everything, boss fights, police station. We made it here in 40 minutes because I blew 10 minutes and got bit a lot and lost supplies, but if you guys optimize better than I did, you'll have better supplies, you'll have better aids, and you'll have skipped boss fights in a big portion of the game and saved another 10 minutes that I blew trying to get into the skip. You'll be here probably within a half hour's time. So, from here, it should be a cakewalk to S+, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, anything, leave it down below. Let me know. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time, guys.